Okay. I was looking for the line where Abena was talking about that the president should engage, considering how the economy, he described the economy, he should be engaging more the private sector than the public sector. And I wanted to ask you, you in your dying days employed en masse into the public sector. And when the government came in, it decided to discontinue their contracts, and you were complaining. Yet you are writing about it, that the president should engage more the private sector than the public sector.
No, I think with regards to what she was saying was
because if you referenced YEA. YEA, so far, their engagement with us has been their engagement with the private sector and how they have helped people gain employment in the private sector.
But they did also have an apprenticeship program where they trained people in, there was dressmaking, they trained people in a lot of these things, and after they gave them a startup capital. You can talk to
No, in this case, what they did was to engage companies within the private sector to employ people. So they were the link.
Yes, they did that, and they also had an apprenticeship program. What the former Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance was talking about is the policies that they set out and how those policies are, again, government-sponsored. So it's about government-sponsored jobs instead of stimulating the private sector to provide these jobs.
Yeah,
so that's where she was talking about.
A policy like the Agriculture for Economic Transformation, the AETA, Transformation Agenda, the Feed Ghana program, the Poultry Farm to Table project in Kokonkete, Ejumera program, the 1 million coders program, Ghana Medical Trust Fund, Mahama Care, and all that. How do you consider that as a government-driven program and nothing to do with private sector?
No, but those are government-driven programs. These are programs that are going to be mostly sponsored by the government of Ghana.
How will you describe one of your policies?
No, if you look at the
one factory.
One district, one factory is a combination of, it's like a PPP. So you are getting some were existing companies that were provided a better environment to grow. Some were new companies that were helped with funds and what's our government. No, but what I'm saying is that it's different. 1D1F is different from doing the poultry farm to table project, because I don't think that is going to be. Yes, okay, so Louisa is right. We haven't seen this implementation, but from the little that we know, it looks like it's something that is going to require a lot more investment from the government side of things and not as much from the private sector. So that's what she's talking about. And if you talk about the revocation of appointments, it's not like we waited till December to employ so many people and then they had to go home. Anybody that has been in the public sector or public service before knows that it takes some time for these appointments to go over. And as I was saying, in the NHIA, National Health Insurance Authority, people that got the appointment letters, even as far back as October, have been asked to go home. So how does that have anything to do with
those people are in a minority. Most of them were employed in December.
Yes, no, but
you cannot employ people in December, and this government comes and removes them. And then when you put up a write-up, you criticize the same government that why are you, spending so much on the public sector? I'm looking for the line because I
think it's the same thing. I don't think it's the same. Okay. I don't think it's the same thing at all. So what she is complaining about is, you are talking about revocation of appointments. Even teachers have had their appointments revoked. I hear for the nurses, there's been a halt on it, but teachers have had their appointments revoked. Ghana Water, NHIA, almost every government institution. That is completely different from the former Minister of Finance saying that the policies that the NDC has set up is going to depend largely on the government purse. How are you going to fund the 1 million coders program? I don't think you are going to draw in private sector to train them at what cost. It's going to require initial capital and investment from the government of Ghana. How are you going to do the poultry farm to table projects? It is going to be a matter of the government funding these initiatives. And so what she is saying, that how is the government that is painting a very gloomy picture of the economy, saying that everything is bad, there's no money, how are you going to fund all these cash intensive things you are doing? So those are two different things.
Were we presented with a budget for free SHS before it took off?
I don't understand that question.
It's simple English.
I don't understand that question.
Very have a policy framework.
For what? No, you have to explain the question to me.
were we presented with a budget for free
All
SHS?
the costs that free SHS incurred were in the budgets of the year.
Were we presented with a budget before the policy rollout?
Free SHS started, I think, in the first 6 months of our government. Yeah.
So we had a budget?
So yeah, we had a budget.
What was
we had a budget.
Where is that document?
I don't have it here now. I'm sure it's something I can find for you.
Me.
Yes.
In the next 5 minutes.
No, when we are done talking, I'll find it. But I don't understand. How does that come in here? Because the budget hasn't been read, we don't know how these policies are going to be funded. Is that where the question was going?
I don't know where the question was going.
Yeah, so because I can tell you for a fact that these 1 million coders, this Nkokon Kitty, is going to be funded by the government of Ghana.
I'm just wondering the nature of criticisms that's coming to a government that is more like 2 months old in government. Like under 3 months old in office. The nature of criticisms is like you're expecting magic in the 2 months they stayed in office.
No, we are not expecting magic.
At this point, I'm expecting that you appointed this person into office. This person, but that person cannot do this work because of A, B, C, D. We know that something might happen. So you do this and do that, and I'm expecting that nature of criticisms.
No, and you don't expect us to respond to the state of the nation.
You are comparing 2 months to 8 years.
No, we are not comparing 2 months to 8 years. You don't expect us to critique the state of the nation when selective balances of government accounts are presented, the bad ones are presented, the good ones are not presented, the selective presentation of information to the populace. There were a lot of things that grew in the government that we handed over. There's a higher growth rate of GDP generally of the economy. The president did not find that prudent to mention. The banking sector assets grew by, it was at 81 billion to 367 billion. I'm too slow this morning to do the percentage rise. That is a positive outlook. The president conveniently did not mention that. He did not mention that our gross international reserves grew from 5.7 to 7.7. These are all things that are important, that we expected the president to let the people of Ghana know, to create the true state of the economy. But if you come in and you pick and choose and you only present information that will create a very gloomy picture to the people of Ghana, then you do not expect the opposition to just sit down and watch you, as it were, misinform the public. That's all that's going on. So it's not a matter of us comparing an 8-year administration to a 2 months administration. We just want the facts to be laid bare. We just want the government to start on a very open and transparent.
I may end up going on a one-on-one with you, and I don't want to. So let me have Louisa come in.